This video is brought to you by CoolStuffInc.com, where you can find cool stuff in stock.
Hello and welcome back to another day in the arena. It's me, it's CGB, and today in the arena we are checking in on a Luminous Broodmoth deck with Mardu Aristocrats. So Luminous Broodmoth is a card I've wanted to play with, but I had to get all the mythic rares from the set to get my hands on this, and whenever a creature you control without flying dies, return it to the battlefield under its owner's control with a flying counter on it. So none of these creatures have flying, so if a Broodmoth is on the battlefield, when these die, they come back to the battlefield. What's good about things dying and re-entering the battlefield? Things that pay you off when things die or enter the battlefield. So Cruel Celebrant, whenever a creature dies, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. Mayhem Devil, whenever you sacrifice a permanent, 1 damage to any target. Priest of the Forgotten God sacrifices permanents. Creatures, to be specifically. Oven sacrifices creatures. You probably understand how most of these cards work from watching them in various sacrifice decks, but this deck, because it runs Luminous Broodmoth, can't play a companion. It's even, so you can't play Obosh as a companion, and it's 4 mana, so you can't play Lurrus as your companion. The idea of a sacrifice deck not having a companion is what keeps Luminous Broodmoth on the sidelines, but it's still a very powerful card, and I think for that reason it's underexplored. So we're going to play it today in Mythic and see if we can make it a competitive endeavor. Woe Strider is a key card to the deck, being able to sacrifice things at will with a Luminous Broodmoth on the battlefield and scry through your deck while triggering death abilities and enter the battlefield abilities. Very, very sweet. So I'm sure you can imagine what the deck does, but it's more like you have to see what the deck does. If you control, say, a Broodmoth and a Mayhem Devil and a Cruel Celebrant and a Kitty Cat and a Woe Strider, then you sacrifice the cat. The cat goes to the graveyard. You'll deal 1 damage to any target with the devil. You'll ping the opponent with the Cruel Celebrant. But the cat doesn't actually stay dead. It returns to the battlefield because of the Luminous Broodmoth with a flying counter, triggering to drain the opponent for another life point. Then, if you want, you can sacrifice it to Woe Strider again and do the whole cycle, except this time the cat does stay in the graveyard. But what if you have a food token? What if you used a Witch's Oven to sacrifice the cat? Now you bring the cat back, it doesn't have a flying counter. You can reset the whole thing again, and by the end of doing this cycle 1 time, we did 12-ish damage. Now, if you want to also sacrifice your Mayhem Devil or your Cruel Celebrant, guess what? They'll come back with flying, which may mean they get to attack the opponent to death anyway. It's disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. Which is why we have Footlight Fiend to basically be a second Cauldron familiar, so that when we do have a Luminous Broodmoth, sacrificing the Fiend really works. I thought about Dreadhorde Butcher for the deck. The deck runs red mana as a splash. The only purely red card is a Mayhem Devil. I didn't want the stress of having red mana on turn 2. After playing the deck a little bit, I'm still not absolutely sure that was the right call to make, especially since we have so many red sources. You're looking at 13, 14, 15 potentially right here. So it's definitely possible that this deck could want Dreadhorde Butcher instead. I'll leave that to you if you want to play it. Footlight Fiend also has the advantage of being a common, so maybe that sways you a little bit. And then the other thing I want to mention really quick is that there is a beautiful animation for Luminous Broodmoth. This big moth, it does the flappy flap wings. Your flappy flaps across the screen. Like that. And it doesn't actually occur if you use the sweet Mothra art that they put in the darn game. Which is why I'm not using the Mothra art. But the Mothra art is also really cool. I don't like skyscrapers in Magic the Gathering, I'll be honest. But I like Mothra. I think Mothra's really cool. So why don't we get the animation when we use the Mothra art? It's like we're being punished. And I love Mothra. So I'm a little twisted. A little torn. Just wanted to get that out there. Ventilation. So let's dive in now and let the nonsense begin. Well, this hand doesn't have white mana. We do have an Oven, but not much we can actually cast. Do I have to mulligan this hand? It does have Devil and Strider, but it's possible I do nothing for some period of time. Okay. This hand is better. Let's keep. Are we going to draw a land? I'm going to put my faith in drawing a land. Crazy, I know. Let's lead with the Witness. A card we really don't mind trading in almost any situation. Flourishing Fox. Alright. Well, without question, we have to get the Priest down. And I guess Hunted Witness could block the Fox. But then we'd have one less sacrifice for our Priest, so let's offer the trade. The opponent with the attack. No blocks, of course. The Priest is very important to keep alive. And here our opponent can go cycle, cycle, punch face. Our deck is mostly a black-white deck, splash red. Therefore, using this mana to cast the Footlight Fiend to use the Priest seems good. And this is where Footlight Fiend just really kind of shines as something that we can sacrifice. And also still have mana. Oh, you know what? If I had left the red open. That's a whiff, you guys. I thought I was going to play Mayhem Devil. I actually tapped wrong. Got lucky, though. Got lucky. Here's the Devil. Hopefully we can give the Lurrus deck a devil of a time with this one. They might just go cycle, 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 try to flare me. Which is a real problem, of course. We do draw a creature, wow. Okay. Huh. Well, we can't play this and the Broodmoth. So what do we do? I think we play the Woe Strider. Good. Now we can attack. Use the Priest as a better clock advantage. Down to 9. We'll do this on our turn. And point all the damage. Okay, we did draw a playable. And is it enough for lethal? It's really close. Yeah, it's good enough. So if we sacrifice our Priest, it's 2 damage. And that's game. That is a turn 4 kill. It's got the cat, it's got the oven, it's got the Priest. What more could you ask for? What more could you ask for? Another land, but we'll draw it. Don't worry. Uh-oh. Oven Mirror, but we're the deck with Mayhem Devil. That's pretty good. So if I put the cat out now, I don't think anything bad really happens to it, but you never know. So it's probably even better just to get an oven on the field, since the opponent probably won't interact with it. A point or 2 of damage is probably not going to matter nearly as much as positioning. And our opponent has Cruel Celebrant. Now, what we don't have is Claim the Firstborn, but an oven is a good protection against it. The Broodmoth is here. Very curious if we get to keep this Priest. Our opponent also may not have Claim the Firstborn. It's looking like a black-white version. The Lampad of Death's Vigil. Enchantment creature nymph, sacrifice a creature, lose 1, gain 1. So maybe an all-in on draining the opponent out type of deck. So for me, we want to make sure that Mothra comes down next turn. And that's going to require possibly sacking 2 creatures. So I think I want the Woe Strider. It's a little awkward with the basic mountain here. Because if we had anything other than the basic mountain, we could play the cat, sack the cat, keep the Woe Strider, then play the Broodmoth. But I don't think we want to use this ability now. I think we want to save it. And then let the real nonsense begin. Here's a priest. Alright. Our opponent has a priest. They're stuck on 2 lands, which is a big advantage for us. It's not the land we wanted. If I play the cat, we'd have to draw into white mana in order to play the moth. Or we could get the moth down with the priest. I think we go for it, because if we draw any black mana, playing the cat on top of it's really good. Does the opponent block this? I don't think they do. Let's see what they do. Get him. Get them. Who wants to die? Looks like the opponent picked the land pad, and we do draw the swamp. Here's a Mothy Moth. Hello. I'm not rude enough to actually emote the hello, but I felt it. I felt it. And yep, things are about to get really crazy. My goodness, if we get to play this stuff next turn. The land pad, okay. Alright, I think the opponent's gonna throw their creatures at me. So cat comes back from the Broodmoth. It's a flying kitty. Yay. Our opponent has cat of their own. All right, on end step, we'll sacrifice this cat. Now, when we bring it back, it won't have a flying counter, but we don't need to bring it back yet. We can wait until the Mayhem Devil's on the board. Can't wait to see just how much damage we can unlock here. It's gonna be a lot. Alright, let's bring out the Fiend. Let's bring back the kitty. Oh. Oh. There was going to be so much nonsense. If you want, we can dissect it, of course, if you'd like. Could be fun. So, bring back the cat. The opponent goes to 14. Activate Priest of the Forgotten God. Sacrifice cat and Footlight Fiend. The opponent takes 2 damage and goes to 12. Footlight Fiend, if it goes to face, is 11. 2 Mayhem Devil triggers, which is 9. They sacrifice from the Priest, which is Mayhem Devil trigger. That's 10. Priest of the Forgotten God's actual 2 damage... 8, sorry, I counted up, is down to 6. But then these both died and they come back. So the cat comes back, that's 5. The Footlight Fiend's still in play, which is Oven can sacrifice the cat to repeat the cycle. So that's another 1, 2, 3, 4 damage at least. And we have 2 black mana to play another cat. So the cat, this is lethal. The opponent can gain 1 life by sacrificing the Witch's Oven to the Cauldron Familiar. Then we attack for 3 with the Broodmoth. It's at least 3 points over lethal. And if we draw a white source, we can even play the Celebrant and add even more damage to the mix. So Witness, Priest, Strider on the play against Lurrus. Don't think we can possibly mulligan that, so we'll keep it. The decision is whether or not to get the tap land out, just to have a Hunted Witness on 1. get an extra point of damage in. Against Lurrus, I don't think the Hunted Witness will matter. But let's see. If they play a Fox, and then we play a Priest, and then they double attack with it, and then the next turn we play Woe Strider, that's not nearly as good. At the same time, curving into the Woe Strider makes sure that we actually get to use the Priest. It's a pretty tough choice, to be honest. Starting from turn 1, it could influence the game. I'm going to take what I think is the more conservative route with playing the tap land. Dead weight. So it's the version of Lurrus deck that runs a lot of auras to kill our creatures. I think we get the Mayhem Devil down. Although, so how are we going to get through their removal? Maybe we're supposed to play Priest and Witness and make them have another one now? By the time they hit 4 mana, they can play Lurrus, get back dead weight, which means that the Priest is no good. Could really use a Mothra. Could really use a Luminous Broodmoth here. Yeah, it's the full-on control deck version of Lurrus. That's very bad for us. I don't think the opponent wants this trade. So if they have an untapped land, they can play Lurrus, bring back Deadweight, and kill the Priest, which is terrible. I think I'm better off getting the Devil on the field. And then next turn with Woe Strider, hopefully it can deal with the Alseed and give us some insurance against the Lurrus. Mystic. And Mystic. Yuck. Gross. Alright, next turn the opponent can play Lurrus and Mire's Grasp the Devil, so we need to take advantage by being able to sacrifice a bunch of things to kill a bunch of things. Let's start by getting rid of this bounty here so that our opponent can't provide protection next turn. Do I need that land? No. Not until I find Mothra, that's for sure. But we have to get rid of the Lurrus. If the Lurrus doesn't die, we're just going to lose this game flat out. That's terrible for us. Everything about this draw has been brutal. Let's see what they get back. The Mire's Grasp for just 1 mana. So we have to sacrifice the Witness. Point at the Lurrus. We have to hope that they're out of stuff and our Priest can take over the game. This is going to die anyway, and we don't want the opponent to draw a card with the Eidolon. So giving up the Devil makes sense here. Another Fiend. No. Devils and Mothras is what I really need more of. So you're telling me there's a chance. This really needs to live this time. It all comes down to what the last card in their hand is and what they drew off the top. If it's another Deadweight type effect, yeah, that is so brutal. We can still sacrifice the Priest here so that the opponent doesn't draw a card from the Eidolon or get a buff. And try to find something good. It's not quite over, but things are so bad now. Wow. Just wow. Alright. We're doing it on hard mode. How do I get something out of this attack? We could throw everything in front of the Eidolon and the Footlight Fiend could kill it. The opponent draws a card. We definitely don't have to panic here. We can take some of this damage. I think that what we do is put a cat in front of the Eidolon and scry with the Woe Strider here, so they don't gain life. Ugh. Man. Deck is being rude. I don't want to give up the Woe Strider unless I have 5 lands so I can get it back. Now I do, so maybe next turn we'll block with the Woe Strider. Are they top decking more gas? Maybe. Okay. Okay. We'll have to figure out this. Ghost form is good protection for the Mystic. Let's go here and here, I suppose. This ping of damage could still matter a lot. Alright, give up this. I could gain 1 life from it, but I think I'd rather have the Scry. Broodmoth. Okay. Where have you been all my life? Can the opponent please stop drawing gas? They haven't missed a single turn's amazing draw step, and they did it again. That's pretty good. It could be worse. It definitely could be worse. All right, where's my 1 damage go? Just up top. Oven. Oven's pretty good. We can start bringing back the cat. I think we want the Woe Strider now. Anything but the cat can get exiled here. Now, if they top deck another Deadweight or Mire's Grasp and kill the Broodmoth right now, I think my head may explode. So how about attacking? I think I want to do block with Footlight Fiend, block with O1, so attacking doesn't make sense. Now they're taking a serious pause, which the last several draw steps they drew, and they just like immediately started like figuring out what they were going to enchant. You know, you could see this hyperness from them. Now they're really taking a pause. Oh my, why would you do that? They really top decked another Mire's Grasp, and now they're putting it on the Woe Strider. I guess they really want to draw a card. Because when Woe Strider dies, the Eidolon draws. The goat token we can sacrifice. This, I suppose we can chump block. It doesn't come back. What are we putting in the oven next turn? I'd like to put something in the oven that can come back, so the Woe Strider makes sense. The opponent drawing a card isn't going to be the end of the world there. So, block. I can't believe they didn't kill the Broodmoth, though. It's really hard to believe. Another cat is fine. So now we don't have to throw the Woe Strider in the oven. Don't even have to block with it. I think I'll send an attack, to be honest. We've got to start the clock somewhere. We can always put this in the oven to get it back as a blocker. The opponent would get to draw a card. They move to combat. All right, cat here. Cat comes back, drains the opponent. Take 3, down to 4. Let's bring the cat out. We're going to use it as a scry machine here, since we get this free activation from Broodmoth to deal even more damage at the end of every turn. Okay. Cat army assemble. How much attacking can we do? 1, 2, 3, 4, down to 8. And then these don't come back immediately. We need the food to do it. I think it's just you. I guess it can be you as well. Block, block. Finally. Finally they draw land. Yes. They give me a chance. All right. So this one comes back anyway. So we'd rather have that one block the one on the ground that doesn't have lifelink, and this is the one we'll sacrifice. Oven's fine. And then this one for the scries. Bring back from Broodmoth. Witness is probably good. Yeah, finally we found our gas. As we pick them down to very low, and I think we're good here. This one's on the ground, so we can sacrifice it to put it in the air and get an extra point. Close game. Really tough one. So bring the cat back from the food. Final point of damage, game over. It's gonna be Priest against a Yorion. It's an interesting hand. Where to begin? We only have one card that uses white mana, so a black bottleneck is more likely, so I'm going to lead with the Fiend. Esper. Esper Birth. Will it be an Agent of Treachery deck is the new question. Alright, let's have a Priest of the Forgotten Gods. Oath of Kai is a good one. Again, we'll see if they have Shatter the Sky here. Would be brutal. It means that they are opening was Birth, Oath, Shatter. Instead, it's a tapped land, so a little stumble here from the 3-color deck. That is a lot of land, though. Alright, so first up, attack with the creatures, because we get an extra point of damage. They can only block one. Then sacrifice them. You can expect to Shatter the Sky here. The opponent has they hit a tapped land. They have 4 cards in their hand. They didn't play anything last turn. You might expect a counter spell. I don't. Do I still bring out the Woe Strider? I'm going to have enough to bring it back. I may as well. Get some scries off of this. I probably should have played around Mystical Dispute by playing a land first, though. That's what we call a little bit of an oops. So now, I'm glad that resolved. We can cycle this land, but we don't have to do it yet. Opponent with an Omen. It's good that they got to use their turn. They have a really good Yorion turn coming. I hope they take the turn to cast Thought Erasure. That would make my day. Oh, you're Doom Foretold. Okay. That is frustrating in this spot. I wish I could have saved a Witness or a Fiend. Didn't really think about Doom Foretold. Not a card I've seen in a really long time. Let's go ahead and take a draw here. Wow. That's brutal. So Woe Strider's getting sacrificed, I think. Footlight Fiend off the top is something else that I could sacrifice to get back the Woe Strider. I mean, it's fine. It's not great. It's fine. I could bring Woe Strider back, sacrifice the token in the goat, and play the Footlight Fiend, and that will be the thing I sacrifice to the Doom Foretold next. I guess that's better. we are way behind in this matchup. It is not a good spot. All right, sacrifice the tokens, draw, and play the Footlight Fiend, which hopefully will get sacrificed to Doom Foretold if the opponent doesn't kill it. Yorion coming down. The one thing I hate about the decks with Yorion and Doom Foretold is, like, Doom Foretold is great with enchantments on the battlefield, but it puts them in the graveyard, and Yorion is great with enchantments on the battlefield. So I do hate that there's kind of this thing of like, well, you can play the Yorion, but it doesn't actually make your deck a lot better. It's good when you don't draw Doom, but it doesn't play with Doom. All right, so they go after the Priest. We can prevent the life gain at least. Try to draw some stuff that's not land. Let's go. Are you kidding me right now? Snap that block off. Okay. So we could not play into the Doom Foretold, but if we do play a Woe Strider, it forces our opponent to have another play to put on the board next to the Doom Foretold. Or else they'll lose it. They could also just kill the Strider. I think it's worth deploying the Strider. Maybe I'm crazy. I walk into Doom Foretold a lot. And the opponent's probably trying to fill their graveyard for Dance of the Manse anyway, which makes sense that it would be in their hand because they haven't deployed many cards, to be honest. All right, manual taps for an egg. Sure. Gotta be careful. You never know. Okay. Enjoy those lands, although they can go in the graveyard and exile the Woe Strider. But we have another. All in all, I'm not too upset about that. So this is getting sacrificed to Doom. Let's dig up something good here. Come on. Devil. I mean, I want to draw it. I guess I should draw it, but I don't want to lose it to Doom. We can't get Woe Strider back right now. Fabled Passage isn't enough. But this land in the graveyard next turn can be. I guess we wait to draw because our opponent could play another Agonizing Remorse. But if they do that, they take the Devil anyway. But then I just pay less life. I would say we're probably at less than 1% to win from this spot. Especially keeping double top there. There's no chance the opponent just flooded out. Okay, well, if they're going to make plays like that, I feel like our chances are better. Anybody who casts Shark Typhoon, as much fun as you may find it, is probably making a huge mistake. All right, bring out the Devil. Take a shot at this token. I think I need to kill the token. It is arguable that I just shouldn't bother. And that I should be thinking face. But I think I am probably about to get Dance of the Manse, which means maybe that token's not important. So this might all be a mistake. We'll see if I come up a point short. There are definitely draws that get me in range where I could somehow deal a ton of damage to my opponent. Brutal. CGB, they get to draw a card from their shark now. Isn't that amazing? I guess we'll keep it. It gives some amount of reach. I am down to 10. I am taking an absolute pounding. But it's really because our opponent was able to absolutely milk our slow draw. So what do we do? We draw Broodmoth from here, and the opponent taps out and plays badly? Guess that's the chance. Our opponent might just have double Oath of Kaya here. But I guess we live with Cruel Celebrant. I think this is where, though, they just kind of dance of the manse and feel so good about themselves. It is the right moment for it. I mean, I love a good Doom Foretold deck. I just don't think they're any good right now. They go for another Shatter? Wow. All right. Maybe they just overvalued putting a ton of Shatter the Sky in their deck? I don't know. So if we sacrifice this, we get another Scry, which we don't need. All right, resolve. And this drains for more. Now they're eating eggs. Okay. You have to exile one of the Woe Striders, but I think that's okay. Just keep the pressure on. And I actually think we play the cat. Hold back the Celebrant. Getting a few extra points when they die isn't nearly as important. Making this a surprise can be just fine. We may avoid taking a Scry because of it, but let's be honest, Scries end up keeping on top a good amount of the time too. It's been just torture waiting for this Dance of the Manse. They must have it. Maybe they don't have it yet. Okay, that's a sign that they're going to do it now. Complete with BM. There's nothing oops about it. I mean, it's what your deck's meant to do, and there was nothing my deck could do about it. So, I mean, pretty scummy. I wanted to like this person. Aside from playing a Shark Typhoon, I like their deck. And they play at a reasonable pace. I wasn't mad. Now I just feel bad. Alright, Doom Foretold. Down goes the cat. Land off the top, probably not good enough. Just saying. Let's shock this. Draw a card. Alright, I'm gonna leave now. Turn 1 Oven, turn 2 Celebrant, turn 3 Devil. If we draw something along the way that's useful, it's probably a good hand. It is land heavy, of course. We're up against Yorion. And of course this hand hurts us a lot, but if the opponent isn't attacking us, who cares? But Light Fiend, we got a turn 1 play. This is more aggressive than the Oven, so I like playing it on turn 1. And our opponent with a tapped Breeding Pool, so maybe not the Luca deck that we expected. Another land off the top is pretty vicious. We'll need less of that as the game goes on. I said less of that. So what do you think? Are they going to wipe the board? Let's hope not. Our hand only does one thing. Slow rolling any cards is not really a great option. Omnath, sure. Alright, let's point some damage. Now, can we come up with enough to kill this? That's interesting. Now, the opponent could block the devil, but I think this is our engine, and now what we need to do is draw into ways to abuse it. If we draw a cat, if we draw a Woe Strider, if we draw a Mothra, like anything like that, we have a great engine. So I think we just let our opponent have an Omnath that's going to keep growing, because I don't think it will beat us on its own. But we'll see. Our opponent kept a hand that didn't play anything until turn 4. We didn't punish them very well for it. And now the Scampering Scorcher comes down. That doesn't do much. And in fact, we just get to pick it off if we draw something good. We did. Now, how to use it. We have 4 damage we can distribute around from the food token and the witness itself. We could kill the Omnath now, so that we could actually attack the opponent's face. Or we could just say go and hold up the ability to use our sacrifice triggers when we want to. I think that's better. For example, if the opponent plays Yorion. Yeah, starting this turn, you know, as long as we keep the oven and we get the creature from the witness, and then we have that to sacrifice next turn, we have 4 damage this turn, 4 damage the next turn. Actually make it 5. So 5, 5. They're really close to just being dead. And it's possible we shouldn't even worry about the board and just go after their face. So let's see what they do. They go for Yorion. Let's let them choose their targets. I don't really care about them having a bunch of 1/1s. Bringing back the Omnath, though, that's going to kill something of mine. All right. So now they can flicker the Scorcher, and they get a bunch of 1/1s. But without a Risen Reef. Without a Risen Reef, that's not too bad. Another oven. How much damage can we have going face? Check for lethal. Sack here, 1, 2, 3. Sack food, 4, 5. Play oven. Sack. Yeah, it's not quite enough. So I think we just do what we did last turn. Hold up activations and triggers to see what the opponent does. The ability of the devils to just pick off reefs and things of that nature. It's pretty good. Ooh, they shock. So close to dead. We don't have 10 damage anymore unless we top deck another creature, but we have something like that ballpark here. The opponent getting the Yorion busy. So what are they doing with their 6 mana? Thassa. Sure. It must have something else to do with the 2 other mana. What do you suppose it could be? What could it be? Brazen Borrower, Aether Gust? They target the Yorion. Sure. That trigger on the stack. Oven the token. Kill that. Do we want to pick off the tokens? I think we want to go face. I don't want to give up one of these 3 to kill the Yorion. That to me is a bridge too far. Don't think it's worth it. Brazen Borrower. Sure. Doesn't stop what's happening in any meaningful way. Just makes me save the food token, which isn't a big deal. And that's probably good enough now. Guess it doesn't matter which one I tap. Oh yeah, we want to use that for red. That's what it is. More black mana open for reasons I don't know. So much cat damage. So much. Oof, no black and no priest. Will we draw the black mana? We've drawn plenty of land throughout this video. I think we can probably do better. This isn't a great hand. We don't have priest or anything particularly strong. So we're going to need to draw some actual power cards to make this all work. Razor. You. And that is Team or Triumph. Alright, let's try to get some damage in. Well, the opponent doing some damage to themselves with their land. Winota. So this Winota deck might just end the game next turn, not kidding. By getting back Agent of Treachery. So, is it worth an attack? I think so. If they block with their reflection, we can sacrifice the Footlight Fiend, deal an extra damage. Maybe we should have slow rolled it for that reason. Prince. Sure. Scry 2. Well, I appreciate that. Alright, Cat Oven. We're gonna try to drain him out. Once Winota happens, we're pretty dead. I'm surprised the opponent didn't gain life, but I guess they feel like they need to fix the hand. So if we attack... Yeah, the opponent didn't block last time. And we do just need to find a way to clown them, so to speak. To just get there. Alright, letting the cat die is fine because we can throw something else in the oven. This can deal a damage, then we can throw this in the oven. Kill the prince, but killing the prince isn't the priority. Killing the reflection means this untaps. I guess killing the reflection is the priority, right? Because that's what can trigger Winota. The Grazer can too, but denying a Winota trigger seems pretty good. It's possible also that that one extra point going face is what turns out to matter a lot. That could feel bad. Kenrith. Crap. Just straight up cast Kenrith, but they're down to 5. They're down to 5. Can we figure this out? Down to 4. Anything that they block and kill makes them go lower. The only thing that can block effectively is the Grazer. We attack with the Celebrant, though. Let's see, if they kill the Celebrant, they also have to kill like 2 of these. Is there a way that they can block, kill the Celebrant, go to 3, take 1? No, I think I've got this. Make them have it. That shock land, I think, is going to do it. Because everything dies at the same time. I even could have sacrificed the cat to get 1 more trigger, so they were dead by 1 more point, even. Whew. so close. Well, it has oven, it has cat, it doesn't have red. We're going to have to draw it. I think that we deploy the Footlight Fiend, and then next turn we go cat oven. 2 Broodmoths. Will we have the mana to use them? Priest. I guess they could have a counter to oven next turn, which is a reason to play it now. I'd rather they counter priest than oven. Narset. Narset. Okay. What have you got? Elspeth Conquers Death? Yikes. That's not good for our Moth. We're going to have to try to set up a board where our Moth can get a ton of value. Third land. Do we play the Priest or do we play the Strider? I think we stay mana efficient and play the Strider. The opponent might shatter the sky. I guess we get to scry, play a Broodmoth, then they might exile the Broodmoth, but we have Oven. Let's keep the Narset from digging our opponent another card. It is an 80 card deck.
Wait a moment.
They might not be able to pull off a Shatter the Sky. They have the untapped source, and they're passing the turn. So we can try to hit an untapped land to use the Broodmoth here. There isn't a lot to lose by giving this up, but if we draw a Mayhem Devil, it's better. Then it's worth life. Same if we draw a Cruel Celebrant. Let's just take the draw step, but we do want to use the cat. We've got something. It might be a shark. Do I want to lose my Woe Strider if they have a shark? Okay. Let's go for the Broodmoth and see if the opponent counters it. If they do, that's actually fine. They have an Elspeth Conquers Death. Okay, that resolves. I do want to keep this on the field because of Elspeth Conquers Death. So I could kill the shark to get extra damage in with the Fiend. Let's see what they block. I mean, I don't think it's worth it. Like, because I could sacrifice Fiend, go bang bang, shark's dead, the opponent takes 4. Is that better than having the Woe Strider come back with a flying counter? What if they plan to Wrath? If they plan to Wrath, having this with a flying counter, we sacrifice it to the oven, and then we get it back anyway. Alright, it's fine. It's fine from a value perspective. Oh, they keep the shark. Weird. Very weird. They didn't even block the cat to just save a point of damage. I wonder if that was just a misclick. So here's Elspeth Conquers Death. Let it target. Why does it still show me another one? Is that bug different now? So we can give the whole squad flying, but with another Broodmoth to play, that may not actually be good. I know we want to give the Cauldron Familiar, because we're going to probably sacrifice that anyway. All right. Let's... Hold on. Let's sacrifice the cat again. Let's throw this in the oven. 2 foods this way. I don't want to use the Footlight Fiend because we're playing another Broodmoth next turn anyway. So that's my logic there. Let's see another big moth. Yep, the opponent's excited now. See if we can finish the job here. They take it. Are they just dead? 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't understand their shark. Maybe they're a Luca deck that never drew red mana, but there's something about the way that they're just not even using their shark here that's tilting me. Like they're not even blocking with it. I don't understand. And that will be game. Cat comes back with flying, sacrifice it to Woe Strider. Cat comes back without flying. Got there. And we are back for the post-match wrap-up, and this deck did very well today. 6-1 win-loss record from 96% to 98% Mythic. Our loss to Doom Foretold was, in my opinion, a pretty tough one to stomach. That matchup is usually pretty easy if you have some creatures and a Witch's Oven and a cat, but we didn't have the right pieces, and it just kind of went that way. If you wanted to make adjustments to the deck, I did start to feel like I just wanted a few more cards. So perhaps Footlight Fiend should be Midnight Reaper, a card that can keep your hand full and keep the pedal to the metal and keep pressure on the opponent. As I did feel like sometimes I was just very low on action, but most of the time the deck proved why it's powerful and was able to claw out of those positions. Luminous Broodmoth was just a house to deal with whenever it was on the battlefield, and the opponents who let it live, particularly the player who put a Mire's Grasp on the 5/4 Woe Strider instead of the Broodmoth, they probably should watch this video because yeah, this is a kill on sight card, and people haven't seen as much of it in this meta because it's a mythic and because people play the companion versions more than the moth version. But there was a recent announcement that there will be an update on June 1st to the companion mechanic, which is interesting. Wizards has said in some releases in the past that they're willing to consider changing the mechanic, and perhaps they have decided to do so. If companion, pardon me, if companion, Obosh, Lurrus go away, or are significantly changed to have less impact, then the sacrifice mechanic really suddenly wants this card, and you might see a lot more Luminous Broodmoth in the near future. In the meantime, I'm not sure I would recommend you crafting it with your Mythic wildcards, but if you have some, it certainly has a spot in these decks because the combos it enables are very powerful. So, with that all said, I would like to thank you for watching this video, remind you to come check out my Twitch stream Monday through Thursday, 4 to 6 Eastern Standard Time, with a Deck Doctor stream on Thursdays, where I check out your decks. You don't have to be a subscriber on Twitch. Anybody can submit a deck for that. And yeah, it's a good time. So come over to the Twitch show, have fun. Thank you for watching this video. As always, I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.